All right, good morning, everyone. All right. Sorry, I forgot to schedule the broadcast yesterday, so hopefully most of you have seen that I'm broadcasting now. All right, so let's go ahead and get started and review yesterday. So, yesterday we had top ships, which is a symbol that most of us have seen before. TOPS is the symbol. And as you can see, had a pretty strong day. So there's the open. First didn't go up, it went down first, and then after that, just began to move. So we went from approximately $1.54 up to about 214 on the high. Most of this was definitely exploitable, and then towards the end, we had our final ending to the move right around here. And then later on, had a pretty decent sell off too. So there was opportunity both long and short. So hopefully, most of us were able to take advantage of that. Not sure why this stock is on my list, but HILS, we did see pre-market. It was active, but it didn't do much during the day. The session actually started right about there. So we're down, we're up, we're down, we're flat. That was it. Right? So not much there. eBay, however, was a great opportunity. We did spot this early in the session, and it did turn out to be a pretty good performer. Uh, so for eBay, there is our opening right there. Mostly went down first and then turned quickly into a nice uptrend and then continued. So it went from about 48.22 up to about 48.97. Not a huge move dollar wise, but decent move. Then just flatlined after that. Okay. Then we had Mondelez, which again had a really good day. This was actually one of the better performers 2 days in a row. So remember, we had on the 10th, Friday, we had a nice move that day, and then we had a repeat of that yesterday. Okay, very nice move right from start. Didn't get quite as far as I was looking for it to go, but that's a very nice move, and it was very quickly identified early in the session. So went from about, say, 66.95 up to, or sorry, 65.95 up to 66.70. So pretty good move. Again, not huge dollar wise, but a good move either way. All right, and then let's see. IQ was looking like it might do a little bit yesterday. It started off okay, but didn't keep going. And then, of course, it had a very consistent sell off after that. So most of the action was in the negative direction. So short would have been a lot more effective than long. Good morning, Gene. Uh, COMS did have a decent move up as well. This one appear to be, well, I'll say this one I would definitely watch for the next week or so because the movement that we see here doesn't really communicate how strong it was. So you had the gap higher. Well, this was the first. This is not really a gap higher. This was a reverse split. They had a 1 for 100. Sorry, 100 for one reverse split, meaning for 100 shares you get one, which is a pretty high ratio. So that means that basically the number of shares outstanding on this has gone down dramatically, which means that the float is smaller in size, which means that usually lower float stocks typically get some pretty exaggerated movement. And this one here is yesterday. It got higher, sold off at first, and then it rebounded, which I definitely made a point to everyone to keep an eye on. So after this first consolidation, we're looking for it to break out. It attempted to right there, but didn't make it. And then after that, the first breakout there, pull back, second one, pull back, and it tried a third time, but couldn't. And then after that, it basically just retreated most of the rest of the day, clearly moving to the other side of the VWAP channel, which would be your indication that it's basically not likely to keep going up. But by that time, even when it pulled below the bottom of the channel, that was already above the high of the first 5 minutes. So basically, this first part of the move, even if you never got out, by the time this happened over here, you'd still be in the same position as if you got out there. So in short, this one was definitely good. It doesn't look that impressive when you look at it from this chart because we have the context over here. But if zoomed in, this is actually a pretty good move. Okay. So hopefully most of us got a piece of that. Um, and that was about it. A number of people point out CLNN. This one did not move up; it just sold off right from the opening bell. So any trading in that, which I did bring it up as a pre-market opportunity, but clearly once it opened, it sold off. So, but I did mention that you have to be very careful with these. A lot of these stocks will end up being pump and dumps at the open. So if it doesn't look like it wants to go up, it probably doesn't. So now these are not really shortable. I mean, you can borrow shares perhaps, but usually these are very hard to borrow stocks. So if you can expect them in a negative direction, I guess it's sometimes worth it. I personally prefer to look for these stocks to go up if they're this low in price, because usually you have to put a lot into it to make some money on a downward move, and that assumes that it goes down. Sometimes these turn around and go up pretty quickly, so you don't want to get caught on the wrong side. If you do, it's going to be tough to get out. All right. So that being said, that pretty much covers yesterday. Yesterday had a lot of stocks that were going up, however, just to be clear. So it wasn't like you only had one thing you could do. There were lots of stocks that were moving. For example, if I remember, I think Apple had a really good day. Yeah. So yesterday, pretty much any stock you picked, as long as it was a major stock in the Nasdaq, they all basically were going up. So it wasn't very hard to find any general winners. Some of the stocks, of course, were a little more interesting, but nevertheless, we did mention, Microsoft, Apple, all those stocks, yesterday. Just to point, they were all pointed out as potential movers. So hopefully, most of you guys are able to grab some of those. Okay. All right, so let's talk about today and see what we've got pre-market. All right, so all right, first up is Wish, Context Logic. Don't know too much about them, but that's Wish. The stock currently up about 5.44% from yesterday's close, but it did have a very large move yesterday, taking the stock from about 67 cents up to about $1.08 or something like that. So it is over $1 today. Briefly, at least, now it's back down. So this one, I'll watch it. I'm not going to put it as a pre-market watch only because it doesn't appear right now that it's on the move up. So I'll keep an eye on it, but I'm not going to add it to the list of things we're going to watch at the open. So it will be something that I'll keep an eye on, but I'll put it up here on my main list, but that's about it. Won't be something I'm watching closely until it's consistently trading at least above $1. Um, we have LICN. It looks like it's a Chinese stock. Currently trading 3.4 million shares, up 9%. Not bad. Okay, so maybe we got something there. Um, so I'll put that on the pre-market. We'll put that on the radar for right now. LICN. All right. Next up, we've got just glanced at Top Ships. Does TOPS doesn't look that active, so I'll pre-market. So I'll skip that. And let's see, not a lot so far. Let's see, FUSN. Let's see what that looks like. It's currently trading 2 million shares, up 23%. Let's see. Shares are trading higher after the company announced it will acquire the phase 2 program for something. Okay. So, up on some news. I'm not sure if that's going to be something that's going to keep the stock moving up. I'll put it on the list, but doesn't sound like a headline that's going to create any lasting movement. But just in case it does, since it is active pre-market, we'll take a look and see. And it looks like something just got added to my list. One second. Um, all right, that actually looks like that's it. I was expecting to see more, but Not a lot of movers pre-market today. I guess everybody is taking Valentine's Day off, perhaps. I don't know. But sorry. Just realized my collar was there. All right. So that's about it there. All right. So it does look like that's it for the pre-market watch list, unless you guys see any other stocks that are really active, but I do not. So I'm assuming that's it. As far as economic news is concerned, today we've got CPI. Actually, we already got CPI out, so let's just go over it really quick. So CPI month over month, as expected. CPI year over year. Well, um, this is a little touchy because this is showing it as green, which would show better than expected, but in the context of the current environment, it's not actually better than expected. That's not what we would want to see. Basically, this calendar seems to have been calibrated towards the environment we saw post financial crisis, where every central bank in the world was chasing creating inflation. Basically creating some. Now we're seeing the exact opposite, where they're trying to eliminate it. And so this number actually, I'm curious how the market's interpreting this, because this is a number that suggests that the inflation situation is not going the direction that the central banks want. So, in other words, if if you look at it from the perspective of Chairman Powell, for example, they would have to say, of the U.S. The Federal Reserve, the U.S. Central Bank, they would have to think about it and say, we're looking for these numbers to keep going down, and now we get an uptick, which is not technically what they want. So, looking at the Nasdaq, the market response is all over the place. I see it both up and down, not a consistent direction. So, this is exactly the impact I would expect from this number. It's basically going to create more uncertainty, right? So, core CPI came in as expected, and month over month came in expected, but year over year did not, which raises the question, is the Fed now going to continue to slow down the pace that is raising rates, or now are they going to do the opposite? Because they do say they're basing it on data, you know. So if the data is not going the direction that they want, then that means that they're going to have to respond. So this could have some significantly negative impact on the market. It's also, as I mentioned in the coaching room, judging by where a lot of the market trade, where the market is right now, we'll probably get some negative pressure pretty soon into the indexes. So we'll see. All right. So later on, we've got FOMC member Logan speaking, then Harker, and then Williams will be speaking. So we got three FOMC members speaking today. The markets are going to pay very close attention to what they say. So even though this says that it should have moderate impact today, it will have significant impact, because this number came out, and it did come out surprisingly higher than expected. So therefore, I guarantee we're going to get some significant activity off of whatever they say. And that assumes that, if they don't say anything about it, then perhaps no impact. But as long as they say something about it, then there will be. All right. Sorry. All right. So, folks, other than that, we are good to go for now. So I will see you guys in the coaching room in about 6 minutes. For those of you who may not be part of our program, maybe you're watching this broadcast as we've got more viewers. Be sure to check out fundertrading.com, learn more about how we can get you funded to trade for our company. Other than that, folks, have a great Valentine's Day trading, and I'll see everyone in the coaching room in just a moment. Okay, take care.